Thursday night greetings and a warm welcome to this evening's edition of Primetime News. I'm Salima Shumway-Feleni Masipa. As usual, if it's your first time joining us, do subscribe, hit the like button and be sure to click on the notifications bell to stay up to date with the latest happenings locally and globally. Leading this evening's bulletin, a SWAPO party youth leader has taken a dig at the party's draconian rules that effectively block any member younger than 35 years from vying for the top 4 leadership positions. Edward Mumbu Jr. compiled this report.
Famously known as the Helmut Amendments, the alterations to SWAPO's constitution were proposed by party stalwart Helmut Hangula in 2018. According to the amendments, aspirants for the party's presidency, vice presidency, secretary general and deputy secretary general positions must have served 10 persistent and consistent years in the central committee and should have been a party member for not less than 20 uninterrupted years. At face value then, the amendments were seen to be bona fide as they were understood to be a way of guarding the party against infiltration by fly-by-night politicians and opportunists whose only desire is to vie for political office for self-gain at the expense of the party. SWAPO Party Youth League Secretary General for Labour and Justice, William Amotenya, has become the first youth leader within the party to publicly condemn the amendments, branding them as stingy. He used the example of founding president Sam Nujoma, who was just 31 when he took the responsibility of leading the Namibia's armed liberation struggle from apartheid colonialism and oppression. Amotenya said young people have always led the movement and they cannot ignore that fact. Therefore, he is not in support of the amendments, adding that they have able and young people in SWAPO who must be given a chance to serve.
On to road safety matters, the Ochozonjupa region has recorded the highest number of road fatalities at 27 among all 14 regions during the festive season, which started from 17 November 2021 to 17 January 2022.
This is according to the 2021-2022 festive season campaign report presented by the Works and Transport Minister John Mutora here on Wednesday. He said that as a country, people have worked together very well over the past festive season to reduce motor vehicle crashes. However, fatalities still increased by 17% compared to the 2020-2021 festive season. He said that the Oshikoto region recorded the second highest number of fatalities at 11, followed by Zambezi with 10, with 480 vehicles involved, of which 34% involved pedestrians and
Namibia Marriage Council founder Paulos Hawanga says although some people love to splurge their money on weddings, it is important to understand the real essence of marriage. Sawi Hausiku gives us this report.
Hawanga, in an interview with Nampa on Wednesday, made a plea to the Council of Churches in Namibia, as well as the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, to amend the marriage law by compelling couples to undergo a mandatory pre-marriage training. He said, only after undergoing an intense pre-marriage training of preferably 6 months or a year should couples be permitted to wed before the courts, churches or traditional authorities. He said, rather than splurging extravagantly on a 2-day event, couples should invest time and money to secure their future as a family through thorough preparation of what marriage actually entails. Hawanga said, the Namibia Marriage Council has observed through the counseling they offer to couples that there is a lot of conflict, miscommunication, misunderstanding over finances, and parenting methods and intimacy issues in homes. Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Justice Simon Idipo told Nampa that from 2017 to 2021, the ministry assisted 1,126 applicants to litigate their divorce matters. Senior Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, Maggie Kalo said, the plea by the NAMC is important and genuine, before explaining that the ministry only conducts interviews of couples when a foreigner is involved to make sure that the citizen is not pressured into marriage for purposes of the foreign national acquiring citizenship. She promised to refer the NAMC's plea to the ministry's legal department. Reporting for Nampa News, Isabel Bento.
Moving on to neighboring South Africa, a watchdog earlier today noted that South Africa's tax authority has uncovered a $1.8 billion gold scam in which coins and jewelry were allegedly smelted into gold bars for sale overseas.
The Amabungane Center for Investigative Journalism said between 2012 and 2020, the scammers bilked the government for 24.4 billion rand by defrauding the tax system. Amabungane said in the scam, companies illegally smelted gold coins, old jewelry, as well as nuggets from small-scale miners into gold bars for export. Sale of gold within South Africa carries a tax, but gold exports do not. The report said so the companies created fake invoices to claim that they had paid tax. The investigators added that when the gold was exported at zero tax, they submitted the invoices to the South African Revenue Service to claim billions of rand in fraudulent refunds. A total of 65 companies are implicated, but 2 of them claimed tax refunds of more than 8 billion rand in 2019 alone. The Revenue Authority has not publicly discussed the cases, but investigators pieced together the story from court records and other documents.
Stand by for your top roundup. In our business and economic segment tonight, we begin at home. The Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation has reiterated that vaccination against COVID-19 meant to reduce the risk of infection remains voluntary.
The Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation's Acting Executive Director, Lydia Indombo, in a media statement issued on Wednesday said government has not yet introduced a mandatory vaccination. The ministry has received inquiries from the general public, employers and employees whether a policy on mandatory vaccinations may or should be implemented in business enterprises. Indombo said the ministry so far received 4 labor-related complaints that emerged from employers introducing mandatory vaccinations at their workplaces, whereas the Labour Commissioner received 10 labor cases. One case referred to the Labour Commissioner was later withdrawn after it was resolved through a conciliation and the complainants reinstated. She stressed that the government has pronounced that vaccination against COVID-19 is done on a voluntary basis and that the government's position remains the same to date, adding that therefore the ministry does not at this juncture advise employers to introduce mandatory vaccinations at workplaces, but advises on the labor aspects of addressing COVID-19 at the workplace that are consistent with the current government position. Reporting for Nampa News, Isabel Bento, Windhoek.
Shifting onto the mining industry, copper blisters remained Namibia's largest commodity export in December 2021, accounting for 34.4% of total exports mainly destined for China, according to trade statistics released by Namibia's Statistic Agency today.
This was followed by precious stones, which accounted for 13.1% of total exports destined mostly to Botswana, the United Arab Emirates, Belgium as well as Hong Kong, said NSA General Alex Shumafeni. Uranium was ranked 3rd on the list with a market share of 11.1% that was destined to China, France and Canada. Shumafeni also said Namibia's total merchandise trade in December totaled 21.1 billion Namibian dollars, a decline of 6.8% when compared to 22.6 billion Namibian dollars recorded in November. According to Shumafeni, the country's trade balance remained in a deficit, standing at 2.4 billion Namibian dollars in December from a deficit of 3.2 billion Namibian dollars recorded in November 2021, which is by far worse when compared to a deficit of 425 million Namibian dollars for December 2020. Namibia's trading partners during the period under review revealed that China continues to be Namibia's largest market for export, whereas South Africa maintained its position as the largest source market for the country.
That's all the top news we had for you tonight. Stay tuned for the economics roundup, followed by the weather forecast.
A warm welcome to All Things Sport on Sport Planet with me, Michael Madimba. In our sports segment tonight, we begin with continental football. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, issued a statement on Wednesday that rejected a request by Ghana to change the match venue for the Black Stars playoff against Nigeria in a World Cup qualifier next month. More on the story from Xinhua.
The Ghana Football Association had requested to move the match venue from Cape Coast to Kumasi. According to CAF, the Ghana Football Association previously notified them that the playoffs would be held at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, west of Ghana, but they were unable to grant the request due to time constraints. CAF added that based on the venue selection received from each of the participating national associations, CAF has timely concluded the assessment of the selected stadiums and communicated to FIFA the venue decisions for the upcoming FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 African Qualifiers playoff round. CAF also said, considering that match day is in less than 30 days, CAF is not in a position to delay any further the confirmation of the match venue. CAF said the 24th of December 2021 as the deadline for the participating national associations to select and communicate with them their preferred venue for the playoff round of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 African Qualifiers.
On to some NBA news. Anthony Davis stepped up with a double-double in LeBron James' absence as the LA Lakers ended their three-game skid with a 99-94 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. DPA gives us more.
James was absent for the fourth straight game with a knee issue, but Davis took charge on Wednesday with 30 points, 15 rebounds and 3 blocks. Russell Westbrook contributed with a double-double with 9 points, 10 rebounds and 13 assists, while Carmelo Anthony added 24 points for the Lakers. Norman Powell landed 5 3-pointers in his 30-point haul for Portland. The Lakers had raced to a 12-point quarter-time lead, but the Blazers narrowed that to a 1-point halftime before seesawing second half, which went down to the final moments. The win means the Lakers improved to 25-27, but remain 9th in the Western Conference.
Your sports roundup is up next. With that, we've come to the end of Thursday's Primetime News edition. Thanks for joining us. A kind reminder that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and click on the notifications bell to stay posted on the freshest happenings locally and internationally. Feel free to add your comments as well in the comment section. Catch us tomorrow for the week's last edition of Primetime News. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the entire production crew, it's good night.